I've always believed that global success can be achieved from any pocket of the world. Being here in rural Cape Breton throughout the pandemic has proven this, not just for myself, but for entrepreneurs everywhere who've adapted and found opportunities in spite of significant challenges. So many people have inspired me throughout my career and continue to every day, from small business owners to international leaders. People across our country are taking risks and betting on themselves in pursuit of their passions. I'm launching these platforms to spark conversations about what it takes to succeed in business and life. If you want to stay connected and inspired, follow along. Today I'm speaking with a group of up-and-coming women here on Cape Breton Island who are leaders in their fields and passionate advocates for the future of Cape Breton. This roundtable brings this series together with a spirited conversation about why Cape Breton and why now. Join us in discovering the beauty and potential of this little place we all call home. Oh, how are you guys doing? Isn't this great?
Great.
Just to be here?
Oh, it's so gorgeous
wow.
today.
Look at this on the Bordor.
Yeah.
Does it get any better than this?
No.
So it's time. Beautiful
Absolutely
day.
Stunning. Summer breeze.
Yeah.
Good friends.
Good friends, good girlfriends. What an exciting time it is in Cape Breton. I've been here with Stan for 17 months, living and working and enjoying this magnificent place that I was born and raised in. And I am so excited to talk to all of you about this place, about a new place that I've discovered that I see having so much potential. And so this podcast is about sitting around the table with some very amazing women that are doing amazing things in Cape Breton. And I'm just really, really excited. But the first thing I want to do is I'd like everybody to introduce themselves and tell us how you're connected here.
Hey, I'm Kelsea MacNeil, and I am a proud New Waterford gal from Cape Breton. My professional career has kind of taken me from radio to public relations, and now I am the Director of Marketing and Communications and Stakeholder Relations for Membertou First Nation, which is an incredible community here, which is just growing and thriving, and I'm so proud to be part of that. And I'm also a very proud member of Cape Breton Voices, a connected group of professional women here who are doing our best to move forward everything happening on the island.
That's right. And you are making a mark, Kelsea. Danielle.
So I'm Danielle Patterson, and I am also a Cape Bretoner from Sydney. And I have been throughout the Maritimes predominantly for my career in St. John's, Newfoundland, in marketing and operations for a bit, and then down in Florida for a short term. And then 6 years ago, my husband and I moved back, and we started a company called Devantech IT and Security. And now we own Anchored Ideas as well. I own it with Danielle Johnston, who's here. And so we are a marketing agency here in Sydney, and we're just so proud to work with so many local companies and have seen lots of our clients grown over the last few years, and have really gotten involved in community organizations and have become a real proud Islander to be back home. So I'm also a twin mom of 21-month-old twin girls, so I'm excited to be raising a little girl squad here on the island as well, which is interesting and fun.
I'm Danielle Johnston, the other half of Anchored Ideas. I'm also the general manager of City Print Plus, which is a print and promotional company here. And I also have a girl squad of my own with a 3-year-old and a 6-month-old.
Wow. So
it's a busy and exciting time, but I've been here for pretty much my whole career and wouldn't have done it any other way.
You went away to university, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to Halifax University and moved home upon graduation.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
Kathleen.
I'm Kathleen Yurchesyn. I am the CEO of the Cape Breton Regional Chamber of Commerce. Also a proud Cape Bretoner, born and raised in Sydney. Moved back 6 years ago, did my PR degree in Halifax and lived in Newfoundland and Halifax for a little bit of time. But made my way back to Cape Breton, just around 6 years ago, and have a front row seat, I always say, or a shotgun seat to seeing all the amazing things happening on Cape Breton Island. Proud to call all four of these beautiful women my friends, and have an opportunity to work with them and professionally and connect with them personally as well. So
Wow.
super grateful to be here.
Super. Isn't that great? Oh, wow. What a nice crew I've got with me. What a thrill. Look, I want to start with a question. I have, for many of my years outside of Cape Breton, sometimes I've been put in a position to defend Cape Breton. And I love this place more than anybody would ever understand. And but I want to know from you, why are you here? Why have you decided to stay? And what makes you tick on this island? Kelsea?
I think there's an incredible energy happening right now in Cape Breton. I think that, there's really special people that live here. And I think the character and the characters that you find among some of the people here in Cape Breton are just, really inspiring. Some of the most talented people I've ever had the opportunity to know and learn from and work with. And I was living away for school in Halifax, and one day I went home to my apartment and I said, I think I got to get back. I think I got to get back to Cape Breton. I didn't know anybody in the aisles at Sobeys in Halifax, and I thought, this is no life. I have to get home, and you want to be in your community, and so I think that's kind of that spirit of the island is what continues to keep me here and keep me proud.
It's full of character, full of music, full of creativity. Islanders are amazing innovators, right?
Yeah,
and we see it in every walk of life. Danielle, tell us why you came back.
I think for us, it was a happy accident for us. We had relocated down to Florida, and I ended up losing my job.
Mm-hmm.
And so we made the decision to come back home to reset.
Yeah.
And I think it happens more than not when people just come back to Cape Breton for a little reset.
Yeah.
We're seeing it now with COVID-19. And once we got here, we said, okay, you know what? This is where it's at.
Yeah.
And we can really see ourselves here. And so at the time, my husband and I really didn't know, where we could see our careers, because the job wasn't there for us. There wasn't a job posting, but we said entrepreneurship will give us what we need. And we really dug deep into what opportunities existed on the island, what was recession proof that we could build something, and who do we need to find. So IT and security was something we knew was trending, wasn't going away anytime soon. And that's what we started our company with. And now, for me, the island has given us so much, and I don't think we would have been able to build our companies here like we would in Halifax or Toronto or anywhere else as fast as we have.
Yeah.
Because you get to know so many people.
You do. And Danielle, I think you're truly, great entrepreneurs, you and Mark, and finding that niche that made sense. And you've made a business out of both of those ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that amazing? Huh? And
It's
you did
really
it in
cool.
6 years and had 2 children and just to have not stopped. It's it's just a cool story. Very cool.
No, it's fun, and I think it's been a journey. You know, it's been ups and downs and lots of stuff in between.
Yep.
But I think the island has embraced us, and if it wasn't a community over competition mindset, and there weren't connectors like a NovaCorp and SBI and all Cape Breton Partnership and Chamber who helped us accelerate, we wouldn't have been able to start the company. And that's why I love this island.
There's a great incubation system in this island.
There is.
Oh my God.
You just have to get connected to it.
You have to find out about them and get them connected. Danielle, tell us why you have stayed here. Why'd you come back?
I think Cape Breton kind of chose me back. I graduated university in 2009, so it was during the recession.
Yeah.
And I was unemployed for 1 month after graduation, which for me was eternity. I'll never forget that feeling because I was a valedictorian in my university and I couldn't get a job. And I was literally going to move to Cold Lake, Alberta. And no offense to Cold Lake, Alberta, but I couldn't do it. And then I had a couple of job offers here. And so it was kind of like a happy accident. And I ended up working with the Cape Breton Regional Hospital Foundation. For 7, almost 8 years. And I credit that with keeping me here because I think what that gave me was exposure. And exposure that I certainly wouldn't have had in a larger city because it's a small organization. Cape Breton's a small place. So we got to know about people who were in business or who had influence and learn about them and how they got to where they were. And that kind of networking has kind of, helped me inch to where, what I'm doing today. before Danielle and I started Anchored, I made the decision nonprofit wasn't for me for life.
Yeah.
I didn't want my boss's job, so I had to get out and started kind of looking at, what businesses are out there that maybe could be doing better. And I literally knocked on Jimmy Kehoe's door and I was like, I think this company's blowing it. Fire this guy and hire me. And he did. But I don't know if you do that elsewhere, right? Maybe you do. But,
But you created your own job too. You created your own job.
And I think it was after she read the chapter in your book about
it was. I read Annette's book and I was like, that's it. I'm gonna run a print shop now.
But it was confidence, right? I mean, this is all about confidence, isn't it? Huh?
And Jimmy's been amazing.
Yeah.
For you and just the mentorship.
There were 2 lessons in the book too. So one was the need to gain operational experience. And there's not lots of organizations that operate manufacturing facilities that kind of give you that. And then it's just what can I do better than anyone else? Yeah. And I thought I could put in hours and work really hard and make smart decisions. So
that's so cool. That's a great story.
The
great story.
Thriving now.
Yeah. Look at it, Kathleen. Yeah.
Well, I went to Mount St. Vincent. I was never someone who thought that I had to get off the island. I never really had, but I knew what I wanted to do in university, and that wasn't available on the island. So I left, and I actually made the connection with Danielle after university. I moved to Newfoundland, and Danielle and I became incredibly close during that time.
Met on a blind date.
Met on a blind date in Starbucks.
Coffee date.
Best blind date I've ever been on, for sure. And so when I eventually moved back to Halifax, and I remember being in this job, and I was like, I am not happy.
Yeah.
There's something about it. My job was 7 kilometers away from my apartment, and it took me an hour to get there, and so it was actually, again, Danielle that saw this opportunity at Cape Breton University, and she was like, you should apply for this. And
I was living back here.
Yeah, she had just moved back. So I was, I thought she was crazy. I was totally underqualified for that position. But long story short, I got that role, and it was through my role at Cape Breton University and in the marketing department, which was a new department for the university at the time, that I had firsthand experience in falling in love with Cape Breton in a way like you described a few minutes ago, just in a new way. I saw it from a whole different lens as we were positioning the university and marketing it to the world. And one thing that I will never forget about that time is that when we came together as a team and we realized we're not attracting people that want to go to U of T, or we're not attracting people that want to be in downtown Halifax.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people around this world that want this quality of life.
Right.
And
so true.
Through that kind of realization that we had, I really started becoming involved in the community. And, it took a while to reacquaint myself with the island as an adult. But going back to Danielle's point about a lesson learned from your book is that, your network is your net worth. Yes. And that was one thing that once I read that, I was like, okay, that's what I need to do is really put myself out there. And it was really inevitably how I ended up at the chamber because I, much like Danielle, saw the opportunity. I was like, you know what? The chamber needed new breath of life. And I said to myself, you know what? I could do that. I could go in there and change it and make it more relevant to a younger audience and get more people involved. And knowing that Danielle and others were a part of our business community that probably wanted a network like that, but just didn't really see themselves in the existing chamber that we had here. So, I'm here because just like you mentioned, there's so much potential here, and I think we're just at the beginning of it almost. There's this swell and momentum here.
There is. There really is. And Cape Breton was the place where the railroad was built. At the steel plant, all the rails in Canada were built out of that steel plant. It was a powerhouse of a community. And, it's changed. The whole industrial revolution has changed into a technological and service revolution. And I think it is time. I think this is time. The pandemic has really, made us all discover that we can live in other places. During the summer here, I had about 5 or 6 different people that came to visit from away. From away would be Ontario, Quebec, etc. So they go around the Cabot Trail, they see the sights, and they're all looking for land. They're all looking for land
Yeah.
here. They're looking to. They're seeing this as an opportunity to live and to build, and to choose a different life, huh? And and the university also has brought so many wonderful, diverse people to this community. It's really been absolutely exciting. So, tell me, where do you see the growth coming from? Where do you you work with the Mi'kmaq, who's the most, I hate to brag, but Cape Breton probably has the most impressive First Nations peoples in the country. They really do.
Couldn't agree more.
They're spectacular.
Yeah.
They really are. And they're leaders, and they're and so where do you see the thing I want to address? People say to me, there's not enough to do in Cape Breton. Not enough. I got bored. This is the most unboring place that I have seen, that I have been
More
around.
beaches per capita than anywhere in Canada.
Than anywhere in Canada. Like, it's unbelievable. The tourist facilities, the best golf courses in the world.
Yeah.
Like, when you think of the things that we're doing, the amazing fishery that's resurging, that the Mi'kmaq have really been so instrumental in terms of, participating in and doing one of the biggest deals in the country, right?
Yeah.
With Clearwater.
Yes.
So tell me where you see the opportunity and the potential, and tell me as a young person, what we can do outside of business hours here that makes it different. And I want you two to talk a little bit about bringing up children here and that sort of life. So let's start, okay? Kelsey?
Yeah, I think that it's interesting because for a long time, Cape Breton really depended on big industry, right? And I think that we've seen the surge and the boom, and then the downfall from that for generations. And that's something that my parents and my grandparents talk about. But as a young person, I grew up in a time when amalgamation happened, and I don't necessarily see our communities as so individual as maybe some of the older population do here. And so I think when you think about that and the future and the opportunities that exist, I don't think it's one big thing.
No.
And I think that's kind of the change, is that we need everybody at the table. I think we do need big business. We have opportunities here, but we also need medium and small size business as well to be whole. And so I think it's a holistic view, where in the past I think we've put our eggs in the basket of one thing for a long time, and that's really impacted our communities. It's impacted people, and coming from New Waterford, the coal mines, the closure of the coal mines was such a hit to our community, and I feel like 20, 30 years later, there's just this new
spirit
in the community, and I think people are understanding that it's not going to be just one big thing. It's going to be people like Danielle who open businesses, and people who work in retail, and the revival of Charlotte Street, and all the things that are happening. So
one great entrepreneur said to me a number of years ago from Cape Breton, give me 10 companies that have 20 employees than one company that has 200. When one of those companies go, it doesn't kill. And there's truth. The diversity and perspective, I think, is really, really key. And I want to come back to you with that, Kathleen. So try to tell us a little bit about your perspective in terms of what you see and why this is a good place to.
So I
bring
think
up a
we've
family.
just seen so many people either relocate back here or live here in our kind of generation, that 40 and under, who really don't see the grass is greener anywhere else. They are home, they are living here, they're not just working, they're invested on boards and community organizations, they're reviving things that they're passionate about. They're, doing so much year round outside or inside with passions. And to me, that's community, that's place, and that's just so fulfilling. And I just think that there's something about that. And I think that now we live in a world where we can be connected to anyone at any time, which is great. And it makes you feel like, you're bigger than this island, but there's also a sense of community. People just crave connection. And I love knowing people. I love being able to pick up the phone and have a conversation, whether it's through business or friends, or go to a business event and know most people in the room. And I just think it's a really exciting place to live right now. Really exciting. And we've seen it change in the last 5 years. greater than, even the generation who have been here for 40 years working are seeing it.
Yeah, they are.
Like they can't get over it, and
Yeah.
they are excited
Yeah.
for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
And that to me tells me that it's really changing.
Yeah. No, it is.
So we just need more people.
Yeah.
We need more people who love Cape Breton, check out Cape Breton, and know like how what amazing things are happening here.
Yeah, yeah. And there are a lot coming. There really are.
Yeah.
So Danielle, you have 2 little children, 2 girls,
Yeah.
3 and just born.
Yeah.
Amazing. Tell me, why is this a place to bring up a family? Good place to bring up a family.
I think like there used to be this perspective, and like I would catch myself saying it, like when I moved home after school, it was this sense of like, oh, I'm just living in Cape Breton, like this is a placeholder. But it feels so now. It feels so silly to have talked like that now, because it's it's world renowned for being such a beautiful place geographically.
Yes.
But it is a place to build a really beautiful life too.
Yeah.
And the pandemic has been such a great example of that. When we entered our first lockdown, like many of the country and many of the world did, we had land. So to be able to go into a yard to entertain a 3-year-old was invaluable at that time, and I was so grateful for that.
Yeah.
And then when we start to open up a little bit, we had grandparents nearby, and we had family roots, and we had neighbors that, it's a very friendly kind of atmosphere. And I'm not saying you can't get that elsewhere, but for me, those kinds of connections, and it is such a place. That's what I think, the common thread here. But also, like, I look at, like, my little Hannah, and she's 3 years old, and, like, she is so feisty. And, like, I can't wait to see what she does, because she's really, like, she's a force. But I genuinely feel like she could do whatever she wants, here, just as she would elsewhere. And as a parent, I wholeheartedly think that I believe in that, and I would never wish for her to go away to, fulfill her dreams, because I 100% think it can be done here.
Absolutely.
We have great schools. We have safe schools.
Yeah.
We have
Friends who live in our neighborhoods.
Yeah, there's
Kids.
so much here, right?
Yeah.
And I think too, like the big thing with us, and it's been really, really great, is that we're such a partnership that like becoming a mom was just as important as getting a deal.
Yeah.
And like we coached each other on to become that, and like we knew that this is a great family place, and like now we have team members having children, and that's huge for us. And like this is a very family-friendly island where we live an island life. Yeah. And there's, it's okay. We shut our offices down on Friday afternoons because we work longer during the week. But if you can't have a Friday afternoon, so do you, Kelsey.
Yeah, we do the same.
You took Fridays. Yeah. We live on an island. Yeah. It's a long year. Like, go and enjoy your Friday afternoon and don't feel guilty about it.
That's right. Hit the beach.
And like there's so much to do. And I just think that flex time and island time is just a great way to raise a family.
My parents, Tony and Annie Yurchesyn, came to Cape Breton in 1956, the year I was born. And they came because they loved Canada. And they didn't know much about Cape Breton. But my parents loved the land they lived on. And we're so privileged to be able to bring up 5 children. Mm-hmm. And so there's 5 of us. And now we got grandchildren, we got great-grandchildren. It's just such an amazing story. And it is... people here are so respectful, right? Mm-hmm. People here are trusting. People, you can still leave your doors open and your windows open like everybody just does. Like it's hard to believe.
You literally don't even have a house key.
I know you don't have a house key. I know.
Yeah.
But how many places in the world can you have that? It's just amazing. And so, Kathleen, I want to talk to you a little bit about you're seeing it on the ground floor. You're seeing people coming. You're seeing different types of people coming to Cape Breton. Tell us a little bit about your filter system and how you're seeing it transpire over this last couple of years.
Yeah, I think things have changed. I think that the pandemic especially has put things into hyper focus for a lot of people. And I think it put Cape Breton on the map in a big way. Not just how we've responded to the pandemic and how we fared out, but also, I think people are looking for that quality of life that is not anywhere else, And arguably, there are more, there are as rural places, but are there as rural urban centers across this country as there is in Cape Breton? Yeah. Arguably not. Not with an airport, not with access to resources and ports and government and things like that. And we have everything we need, we really do. And it's amazing. Even this morning, I had an email from somebody from the United States that just bought 50 acres of land in Marguerite and wants to open a restaurant and a restaurant and a resort and all of these things, right? How do they get started? And but as we all just discussed, like just by emailing a few people, our tourism bureau and our economic development bureau, this individual emailed back and said, okay, in 25 minutes, I just was connected with everyone that could help build a business plan and get access to funding and help me find employees and all of these things. So, I don't, just from that one perspective, like, is that happening anywhere else?
Yeah, right.
But I really do think that, the grass isn't always greener, just water your own grass.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that we all see that. But I think that's the shift in perspective. Yeah. But I would say that people really see Cape Breton as the potential. I was in a business meeting last week and this individual was international and they do business all over the world, in downtown Toronto to, the eastern side of the world, right? And everywhere in between. And they put it, had such an interesting perspective. They were like, this is the most well-positioned blank slate that I've ever visited in my entire life. Like the potential here is untapped but you have everything you need to start any type of business, whether it's for $20,000 or $200 million, and their ideas were just, bigger than I could even dream of, to be honest. But so I think that's the attention that we're getting. And one thing that I learned over the years, and we've all talked about this, is that, and I mean, you've lived this, is that, amazing things don't happen overnight. And I think for a long time, Cape Breton we feel like we've waited so long.
We waited.
Yeah.
Waited. And you know what the difference is? We depended on government.
Right.
Yes.
To solve our problems.
Right.
Yep.
I don't hear that anymore.
No.
I think the people of Cape Breton are determining their own destiny.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter what government's involved. I think they're going to have to follow the people.
Yeah.
And that to me is the biggest difference.
Yeah.
When the
It
coal
is.
mines and the steel plants and the were all owned by government.
Yeah.
No one could make a move, and everybody's waiting for the government to decide for us.
Right.
We're an island. We're entrepreneurial, and I see the government agencies federally. And I chair SDTC, and I'm seeing them investing in Nova Scotia and Cape Breton. I see the province, Nova Scotia Business Inc., and all these people are all working hard to nurture and build the entrepreneur base. And I think that is what's inevitable. That's the big change.
I think people got sick of moving. Like, I really think there was I look at Breton Brewing Guys as an example, who both had careers here, but people just got sick of having to move and to have to go out west and to, be away from, their families for, months or weeks at a time. And, you have to build it yourself. No one's going to build it for you.
No one's going to be,
What about you, Annette? Like, how's your experience been living here now since COVID?
Oh, I just, it's been just so wonderful. It really has been. And, we had to spend a lot of time alone here, which is really not easy.
We're at your house right now.
But I got to discover my beautiful husband. The first time in my career that I've spent 16 months with him. I was traveling. I was away half the time, right? And so I got to discover my husband and my family, and I have 3 brothers and a sister that all live here, and so that's unimaginable that I could do this. Unimaginable. and I did it. We're doing it, right? And probably had the busiest year of my career. We're building a gigantic battery storage installation in Ontario. It's a $500 million project, and we did it from here. We all did it from remote communities around Canada. And so there is a big change. And I heard a report that knowledge-based workers, 67% will change in North America over the next couple of years. People are choosing what companies they are going to work, what environments do they want to work in, and this idea of getting people inside offices and outside offices, and it's all changing. But it's hybrids, right?
Yeah.
People are going to be making differences. But for me, Danielle, I have always adored this place. I have been so attached to the beauty of it.
so attached to economic development. When I was a kid, that was my big job. I saw the potential of entrepreneurs on this island when I was 20 years old. When I was working as an economic development officer for DevCo. I did. And I saw the women, untapped resources in our society, not in leadership positions. And I was the only woman in the coal mining company, like for friggin' ever, the whole time I was there, in a senior position. And so I think I'm just as capable as any guy, right? And it's finally turning around.
Yeah.
CEO of Chamber of Commerce is a woman. CEO of Yurchesyn Center, Beth Mason's a woman. Erica Shea,
CEO of New
CEO of New
Dawn.
Dawn,
Mayor.
a new mayor.
Yeah. CEO of the port.
CEO of the port.
Like
CEO of
Cape
Cape
Breton
Breton
Partnership.
Think of
CEO
that.
of the Cape Breton Credit City
Yeah.
Credit Union.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's,
Women.
women. You know, like when you're alone, it's
Hospital
hard.
Foundation.
But once you get a cluster,
Yeah.
Paula MacNeil, like it's just you name them. Huh?
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
and there is a change of the guard here.
A lot of
And it's-
badass women.
Yeah,
And
badass.
I don't think anybody, and I think here more than anything, nobody's questioning it.
No,
Like,
of course
I
not.
think like there
No.
has never been, I've never felt
No.
that there's ever been a question or like you said, like anybody ever underestimate the
Yeah.
abilities of any one of those
Yeah.
women. In fact, and in Amanda's case, I mean,
Yeah.
the better part of our population, you know, checked her name on
Yes.
at the polls, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's such a great example.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
This is a safe place to be
Yeah.
Yeah.
for
Well,
women.
Yes.
And you know, and I think that is critically important. I really do. And a safe place to grow. But I'm just so what I've seen here is in 5 years, you know, starting the Cape Breton Voices was just a little piece of it, right? You know, and working in the Yurchesyn Center and seeing, you know, biorefining becoming a big thing, and you know, and developing a thermal and you know energy hub, and like there's so much happening here in clean tech, in fintech, in you know, in these are the alternatives, you guys. You know, I'm helping a guy that is started a business doing aerial views.
Yes.
To
Photography.
for insurance business. I introduced him to Liberty Mutual. Liberty Mutual has invested in him.
Wow.
He's from here, Cape Breton.
Yeah.
Incredible.
All kinds of stories like that. And we don't celebrate these stories enough.
right.
They're
Yeah,
all
I
over
agree.
the place.
Yeah.
And we need to.
And we need to.
They need to be told.
We need to be told. You know, Jill McPherson opening the first island cider house.
Island Folk
yeah,
Cider House.
folk.
Yeah.
You know, like there's just and you know Batiste
Jaime.
not Jaime's daughter,
Mariah.
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 She was
Sister, his sister.
she was just identified on Shopify as one of the top indigenous merchants in the country.
Yeah, Mariah.
That's
Yeah,
phenomenal.
she sells beautiful beads.
Yeah,
too.
she
Yeah.
does.
incredibly
Right.
talented.
Yeah,
And
and
does it from Escazone.
And does it from
Yeah.
Escazone.
That's
Yeah, which is
amazing.
wonderful.
And you remember, and so who was there at the event that we had up in Iona at our little
Yeah,
business
yeah,
conference
yeah,
where we
right.
had 50
Couple of
people,
us
50
were there.
women.
50 entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurs took them from all over the place, right? All
Yeah.
over the island, not just CBRM,
Yeah.
all over.
Yeah.
Wasn't that amazing?
That was
huh?
amazing.
To see the talent there and to see
Yeah.
the potential. And
So-
all it did was give women more confidence
Yes.
to make the ask
So
and
what
to
that?
go
Yeah.
forward and to get their
Yes.
businesses underway and done. And it's really, to me, to be the thrill for me as an older gal is that I see all of you grow. I see the capacity that you have. And you don't even know how big a capacity you guys have. If I were your ages now, oh my God, I think we'd all be running the world. Or try to. But I'll tell you, I think, you know, Cape Breton is an underestimated gem in our country. I think it has the most beautiful people. Potentially, this is the place to be.
Yeah.
Good people want to live here. And it's not easy to live here. Not so easy to live here all year round. but I found it not so bad, quite frankly.
Yeah, right?
I
Especially if you like to
it's
ski.
not so bad.
It's not so bad.
Everybody thinks we're snowed to death. No,
I know.
we have a big dump. Everybody, it's all over the news, and then the next day it's gone.
Yeah.
And so it's really quite an interesting environment, and everybody talks about the weather, but the weather's beautiful, and it doesn't matter what the weather is when you're around people that you love.
It's a fishing boat and behind us.
It's just that's
So Cape Breton, the fishing boat pulls up.
But to your point, and I think one of the biggest things that I've seen change, and it's happening now, but I think it's one of the things that we need to work on, and I think everybody around this table, I mean, you are such a perfect example of this, but the attitude,
Yes.
we need, as an island, we need to be more confident.
absolutely
That is hands down. If
the number one thing that's holding us back.
We're too
We have to
humble.
get over our
We're
own
too
day.
humble.
We have to get over
Like
our
we
own
don't have to
way,
blame Halifax.
Yeah.
We
Right.
can look at ourselves inwardly.
And we can work
say,
with them, yeah.
Right, we can
Yes.
work with them, right?
because we
We're our
don't
own
want to be
thing.
Halifax.
No, we
you know?
don't.
Yeah, that's right.
And when people say that, like oftentimes it's like, okay, like, we are going to be the new Halifax. And it's like, no, we don't have to be the new
Yeah.
Halifax.
Yeah.
We could be like wholeheartedly
Yeah.
every bit of Cape Breton that we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
And be better, like as we grow. But I think our attitudes,
Yeah.
and I think that's changing.
Yeah.
But there are still some attitudes that need to be changed.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but I think like we have like the voices of all these people around the table, like all of us have like started to drown out
Yes.
that narrative, and we need to change the narrative. And I think we are doing that.
I do too.
But we need to, when we want to attract these
Yeah.
individuals to come here and build their businesses here and bring their families here, like we want them to see everything that we're talking about
Yeah,
because
exactly.
it's real.
Yes.
Like,
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
a quality of life, right? And I know Engage Nova Scotia has done a lot around looking at the quality of life in Nova Scotia, and Inverness County is the happiest county in the
Happiest place to
country.
live in
Yeah.
Canada.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
Happiest place,
I
yeah.
think there's something to be said for that.
Yeah.
It's not a metropolis. It's a beautiful place that people really respect their quality of
Yeah.
life. And I think through the pandemic, that's been another thing that we've really looked at. And
Yeah, people
I think
prioritize it
that
differently.
we've been able to just take that, and people are
Yeah.
saying, I want that. And
Yeah.
that's why we're seeing people coming back home. We're seeing,
Yes.
Yeah.
people taking remote jobs so that they can remain here.
I can't
It's
get
exciting.
over the amount of people we've seen come home since
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah. It's
And have just said, I'm going to come for a couple months, and because I can work remotely, it's a great opportunity. I haven't been back home for this long in 10 years, and now have stayed or
Yeah.
are staying, and
Yeah.
have either changed jobs or their job is allowing them to stay here.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just been so inspiring to see. And just every week you hear of someone new, and it's a whole family. My neighborhood has changed. So
Yeah.
we've seen, 5 or 6 new families with
Yeah.
kids coming in
Yeah.
just to my small little subdivision.
Yeah.
And so that is awesome.
Yeah,
and
it
like
is.
our housing market is
I was just
booming.
going to say the
Like,
reflection there is in the
Yeah,
housing market
markets,
and
yeah.
how
Never, yeah.
what a boom we've seen.
Yeah.
It's
Now we need
wonderful.
more low income.
We need,
home.
yeah.
we do. But you build the tax base, and you can do stuff
Absolutely.
like that. And
Yeah.
building the tax base is key to building your community. And look, I love the community leadership. I was involved with New Dawn for many, many, many years, and it's the oldest development organization, business development, social development organization in the country, and they've done amazing things. They really have. And so I just see social and economic development really becoming an extraordinarily big opportunity. I could stay here all day talking to you guys. I love you guys. I'm going to try to finish off this podcast with one word that describes what you think the future of Cape Breton is. Kelsey, I'll start with you. One
Ooh.
word.
One word.
One word. One word. Whoever can think of one can start.
Okay, give me a second. One word to describe the future.
Yeah.
Optimistic.
Okay.
It's mine.
Okay.
I think holistic, because
Yep.
I think you can have it all.
Yep.
I think you can have it all here.
Okay.
Potential. I
Yeah.
think that there's potential in absolutely every corner of this
Yeah.
island,
Yeah.
whether it be tourism, entrepreneurship, natural resources,
Yeah.
big industry.
Yeah.
Retirement. Like
Yeah.
just the next place to live.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But
I'd say like joyful, like something
Yeah.
a bit different. I think like this place is funny,
Yeah.
right? Like, and I think that really supports all of these other things. And like you say, like, let's be Cape Breton and kind of like dig into those quirks.
Yeah.
And
Let's be us.
let's be
Unapologetic.
us. Yeah.
Unapologetic.
And
yeah.
Cape Bretoners bet
Proud
on
and-
themselves.
and confident.
Yeah.
And that's what we are.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's exciting.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
So good
Thank
to
you.
be here.
Thank
Thank you
you
for having
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you.
Let's keep going.
Yep.